Right guys, this ceiling has had foam tiles stuck on it which looked horrible and it's also a fire hazard. So I've peeled them all off and this is the mess it has left behind. So I'm going to overboard it with 12.5mm plasterboard and give it a skim. Right, I'll just talk you through what I'm doing here. I've already got lines drawn on the ceiling where the timbers are, where I can screw into. So it's simply screwing the plasterboard up. I'm using 38mm drywall screws and just made a simple prop to hold them up because they're fairly heavy. I've brought the plasterboard in from the edge of the room a bit because it's easier to scribe small pieces of plasterboard to the shape of the room because nothing's square in this room than it is to lift big boards up and down all the time. So I've staggered the boards a bit just for a bit of extra strength. Probably won't crack as easily along the lines. Just measuring. Try and cut as much as I can without lifting the boards up and down a load of times. Just make sure there's nothing on the ceiling protruding, little lumps of anything that are going to hold the board off. Make sure it's flat. I haven't bothered sort of latting this ceiling before I put the board on because it's fairly level and plumb, so weren't really necessary. The screws probably spaced about 150mm apart. Might be a bit overkill, but I don't really know. I'll just put in what I think. I'd probably get 6x3 plasterboards in future instead of the 8x4s. They're just really heavy to work with. And I'm just marking through my lines onto the plasterboard so I make sure I hit the wood when I go through the board. And just get all my gaps as tight as I can, just to try and make a tidier job. I made a plan for where my downlights are so I can drill them through in exactly the same place. Just make sure you've got no water pipes or anything that you're going to hit when you're putting screws in your ceiling. See, it's much easier scribing small pieces of board around the edge than it is just lifting these boards up and down to get a tight fit around the edge. And that's it, on to scrimming. Just scrim all the joints up. I've even scrimmed over all the screw heads. I don't know if that's necessary, but that's what I've done on other little bits of plastering that I've done, and I haven't had a problem with any plaster falling off. And if I was skimming the walls, I'd scrim round the corner as well, joining the ceiling to the wall, but I'm only doing the ceiling, so just make sure it's nice and flat. And this is it when it's finished. Make sure it's flat and there's none poking down or bubbles in it or anything, because it'll just make your skimming job difficult. It'll be poking through your wet finish. You can see I've done round edges a bit just to strengthen any finish that goes in the gaps. Then about ready for some multi-finish on. So I've probably got half a bucket of water here mixed in to that'll probably give me one coat on this ceiling. Basically, don't fuss too much getting it on, just get your first coat on. You want to be, and then by the time I've got to other end of the ceiling, it's time to get my second coat on, because I'm not as fast as a professional, obviously. And I'll probably mix a third of a bucket of water for my second coat. And basically troweling, by the time I've got my second coat to the other end, I need to start troweling up from where I started. I just go around the room 2 or 3 times. Bit of a break in between each time, it just sets a bit more, does the finish. And the lines and the imperfections get easier to remove as you go, they just sort of disappear. I don't bother wetting the ceiling if I can help it, because as soon as I wet it, I can't see what I'm trying to trowel out. Just all the imperfections just go invisible to me. So I try and do it as much as I can without spraying water on it. It's just how I find it easier to do, but I haven't done a lot of plastering. And this is the finish, which I'm reasonably happy with. A couple of coats of paint on this and it'll look fine. I've already drilled the downlight holes again in the right place off my plan. And just wants a watered down coat of paint and then a couple of coats on top and job done. This has had 2 watered down coats of paint and 2 full coats, like top coats, and that's it. I'm calling it a day. I'm happy with that. It's quite good. Job done.